In a basement somewhere in America, there is a refrigerator that has been running since the 1950s. Not metaphorically, literally, 70 years. No software updates, no Wi-Fi, no touchscreen, no subscription plan, no smart features, just steel, copper, pressure, mechanical force. The door closes with the weight of a bank vault, and somehow it still works. Meanwhile, the average modern refrigerator lasts about as long as a family dog. The ice maker fails, the motherboard burns out, the app stops connecting, the repair costs more than replacement, and everybody just accepts it, like this is normal. But it wasn't always normal. There was a time in America when people bought things once. Furniture stayed in families for generations. Appliances outlived their owners. Tools were inherited. Clothing was repaired instead of replaced. Your grandparents didn't just pass down money. They passed down objects that still worked. Now, most people can barely get a toaster to survive a presidential term. And the weirdest part is, you're not imagining it. The denim really is thinner. The furniture really is lighter. The appliances really do fail faster. Because modern products are not designed around permanence anymore. They're designed around replacement. And once you see it, you start noticing it everywhere. Your headphones, your washing machine, your couch, your phone, your clothes, your house. Modern life is increasingly made of temporary things. And temporary things create temporary relationships. Today, we're not just talking about appliances. We're talking about the moment an entire economy realized that durable products were bad for business. Because the greatest threat to endless growth was something built to last. There was a time when American companies competed on durability. Not aesthetics, not branding, not yearly upgrades. Durability. If you bought a refrigerator in 1962, manufacturers expected that machine to remain in your kitchen for decades. And they built it accordingly. Heavy steel panels, overpowered compressors, mechanical timers, replaceable parts, repair manuals hundreds of pages long. Not because corporations were morally superior, because failure was expensive. Shipping a 300-pound appliance across the country only for it to break after 6 months was a financial disaster. So companies overbuilt everything. The result was an America filled with physical permanence. And permanence changes how people live. People repaired furniture because furniture was worth repairing. People learned sewing because clothing lasted long enough to justify mending. Every town had repair shops, appliance technicians, upholsterers, woodworkers. Homes slowly accumulated history. A chair from your grandparents, a dining table older than your parents, a mixer that survived 20 Christmases. Objects anchored people to time. But then corporations encountered a terrifying problem. A perfectly built product destroys repeat sales. If a washing machine lasts 40 years, you only sell one. And by the 1960s, most American households already owned appliances. The market was saturated. Wall Street wanted growth. But durability was standing in the way. And slowly, durability became a design flaw. The transition didn't happen overnight. It happened millimetre by millimetre. A thinner panel here, cheaper wiring there, plastic gears replacing steel, particle board replacing hardwood, glue replacing screws. The industry called it value engineering. But value for who? Certainly not the customer. Because modern manufacturing discovered something incredibly profitable. Most consumers can't see internal quality. We buy with our eyes. A shiny stainless steel refrigerator still looks premium, even if the internals are weaker than machines built 50 years earlier. And corporations realized something else. Features distract from fragility. So products became overloaded with screens, modes, sensors, apps, connectivity, touch panels. Every feature became another point of failure, and consumers were slowly retrained, not to value durability, but novelty, not how long will this last, but what's new about it. And this mentality spread everywhere. Furniture became lighter because modern renters move constantly. Clothing became thinner because trend cycles accelerated. People stopped repairing products because replacement became easier than repair. Or at least, that's what companies wanted us to believe, because behind the scenes, products were becoming intentionally harder to fix. Screws disappeared. Components became glued shut. Batteries became sealed. Parts became serialized. One farmer described modern tractors perfectly. He said, "You can replace the part yourself, but the company still has to remotely approve the repair." Imagine owning a machine, but needing corporate permission to use it. That's not ownership. That's dependency. The modern refrigerator perfectly captures the insanity of this system. On paper, modern fridges are technological miracles. They use less electricity, maintain better temperatures, reduce food waste. But they are also fundamentally fragile. Old refrigerators were mechanical systems. Modern refrigerators are rolling computers. Some now contain more computing power than the spacecraft that landed on the moon. And somehow, they fail faster than a microwave from 1987. Why? Because software ages faster than steel. The hinge might survive 40 years. The operating system won't. The screen won't. The Wi-Fi chip won't. The app support won't. The servers won't. And once the digital ecosystem dies, the appliance starts dying with it. There are now dishwashers that refuse to operate correctly after third-party repairs. Washing machines that require authorized software resets. Coffee makers connected to apps. Refrigerators with advertisements on the screen. A refrigerator displaying ads. Somewhere along the line, corporations stopped asking, "How do we build the best product?" and started asking, "How do we maximize lifetime customer extraction?" That's the real shift. Not better technology, better monetization. And consumers feel it emotionally even if they can't articulate why. Because modern products don't feel trustworthy anymore. They feel temporary. You buy them expecting failure. That's new. Your grandparents bought appliances assuming permanence. We buy electronics assuming expiration. And here's the cruelest part. Most people trapped in this cycle already know the products are junk. They just can't escape it. Because permanence has become expensive. Solid wood furniture is expensive. Quality clothing is expensive. Repairable appliances are expensive. Meanwhile, modern life itself pushes people toward disposability. Rents rise constantly. People move every few years. Apartments get smaller. Garages disappear. Workshops disappear. Even if someone wants to repair furniture, where exactly are they supposed to sand a dresser in a 600 square foot apartment? This isn't just a consumer problem, it's structural. Disposable products fit a disposable economy. And over time, this creates what economists sometimes call the poor man's tax. A wealthy person buys one durable appliance for 20 years. Everyone else buys 5 cheap replacements and eventually spends more. But there's another cost nobody talks about. Psychological exhaustion. People are tired of replacing things, tired of researching products, tired of warranties that mean nothing, tired of paying premium prices for garbage. One woman online described crying in clothing stores because nothing even felt like real fabric anymore. Everything felt synthetic, thin, temporary, like clothing designed to survive a season instead of a life. And once you notice it, you start seeing the same philosophy everywhere. Disposable furniture, disposable technology, disposable jobs, disposable housing. A society surrounded by disposable objects eventually starts treating everything as disposable, including people. But something unexpected is happening. People are starting to push back. Young people are learning sewing. Repair channels are exploding online. Vintage markets are growing. Communities are opening repair cafes and makerspaces. Not because it's trendy, because people are starving for permanence, for weight, for texture, for objects that don't feel hollow. Deep down, people want things they can trust again. And maybe that's why old objects feel emotional. Not because they're nostalgic, because they represent continuity. A cast iron pan passed through generations. A couch inherited from grandparents. A sewing machine from 1957 still running perfectly. Those objects tell a story modern products can't. They were built with the assumption that the future mattered. Modern corporations optimize for quarters. Old craftsmen optimized for decades. And that difference is now visible in almost every object around us. The death of quality was never just about products. It was about the slow disappearance of permanence itself. But permanence isn't completely gone. Every time someone repairs something instead of replacing it, learns a practical skill, buys second-hand, teaches someone to sew, restores an old tool, they push against the system a little, because ownership is more than possession. Ownership means understanding how things work, and a society that cannot repair its own tools eventually forgets how to repair anything else. We were once a culture that built things to outlive us. Maybe the real question now is, what kind of society builds things designed to die?